what you have and they lack is a fact. Don't watch that. People try to define who you are with the words. Don't watch that. They'll even try to distract.
Dennis Barham here with Chanel Fife.
Yes.
I would like to, first of all, I love your music. The album is called 31. So before we get into the beginnings of the origins of Chanel Fife, I just want to get into the album first. Why 31?
So originally it was supposed to come out when I was the age of 31.
That's a good idea. That concept, yeah.
It didn't happen. So I was looking into what other meanings I could give it. And I decided to go with like different verses in the Bible that start with 31, and I found Proverbs 31, which talks about, you know, women and how strong they are and stuff like that. So,
now the album 31, is this your first project, major project, 31?
yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the beginnings of Chanel Fife. Yeah. Your first note, your first tune that you said to yourself, you know what, I want to sing, I can do it. Like, what was that first note or musical melody or song that you sang?
Well, the first time, I remember the first time someone telling me that they said that, you know, oh, you can actually sing. And that was when I was in my teenage years, I think. I was sitting in one of my friend's cars, and I think we were listening to a Beyonce song, and I'm singing along to it, and she's like, oh, you can sing. And I was like, you can? I was like, thank you.
I'll take it.
And that was kind of like the start of it. I never, like, there was this desire for me to sing and perform and stuff, but I don't necessarily know where it came from because I'm so shy. When I perform, my mouth is dry, my armpits are sweating, my legs are shaking. So I'm always wondering, like, why am I having this desire to sing and to perform in front of people? And then I realized, you know, after some time, it's not necessarily for me. It's for me to share what I have in my heart for other people.
Oh, it's a beautiful concept. Yeah, beautiful concept.
Yeah, because it's nerve-wracking for me to perform. And my mom's like, just calm down. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong.
So what do you think is driving that desire, that passion to perform? I would say burning passion to perform, but you're really scared of it. So you overcome your fears to do it.
Yeah.
What do you think that catalyst was?
Because like, honestly, there's been times where I'm like, you know what, I can't do this anymore, and I just want to give up, and it just follows me everywhere. No matter how hard I try to stop doing it, I was like, I don't want to do it. It's still in me, and so I'm like, okay, if this is continuous with me everywhere I go. I remember a time when I was working at No Frills, and I would take the receipt roll and I'd write songs on there and I'd be singing at work. So I'm like, okay, there's something here, like I'm really passionate about this, so I have to pursue it. So it wasn't actually until last year with the whole pandemic where I really said to myself, like, you have to push yourself more. You have to do this because you don't want to live in the world of thinking to yourself, what if, what if? So just do it, just try it.
Mental torment for yourself.
So I just pushed myself harder and harder. Each year I took more and more and more steps, and now I'm here where I'm actually releasing a full project. So.
Now, you just, with that answer, it's a lead into the next segue. My next question is, do you write your own songs? And so when you do write your own songs, when are those moments, like at the cashier, doing your job, or you're here. So does it just sort of hit you anywhere, or do you have to go in a sort of study area and, you know, set yourself up mentally to, you know, to start writing songs? Or is it just anywhere? You just got to take a piece of paper and write it as soon as you can?
Well, most of the time it's that. It's just a spur of the moment, like anything I'm doing, washing the dishes, playing with my son, outside, walking, everywhere. There's always a song in my head, always. And sometimes it is hard when I'm being forced to do it, but not necessarily forced, but like there's instrumental that someone's like, oh, I sent this to you, can you try writing to it? And then sometimes I'll have like the blockage moments, but maybe if I just do a little sing a song like melody, then I'll get something. But it comes to me pretty easily when I'm writing. most times.
Do you allow other people to write for you or in collaboration to one of your songs?
I have let a couple people help me with a few ideas, but nothing too major yet. But I would love to collaborate and write songs with other people. And actually, I should mention this, when I was younger and I was starting out to do music, someone said that I don't think your voice is up there yet, but I think your songwriting skills are really good. Why don't you let someone else sing for the song for you? And I was like, no, I don't want no one to sing for me. This is my song.
It's your baby.
And now, as I get older, I'm like, that would have been a good avenue for me to take. So now I'm not opposed to having other people sing words that I write. So, yeah.
So your album right now, how many hurdles or setbacks did you have to go through to get this one? Because a lot of people think, okay, you're here now, you have your album out. It was easy. You just sort of copy and paste, and here you are. Tell us a little bit about hurdles, enlighten us.
Oh boy.
Give us a couple.
Okay. So, first of all, my own fear got in the way. That was one thing for sure. I was like, I don't think I should do this. I'm very nervous about it, and I didn't want to do it. Another thing is, you know, the producer that I was working with was always so busy and wasn't getting the songs back to me. And I was like, what are you doing? What's going on? And I was trying to be as patient as possible. And then another thing is the funds to get the songs mastered. So that costs money. So I had to come up with that money. And then working on it late at night after work was so draining. I remember going to my friend's house and working with him, and I'd literally be falling asleep sometimes. Or my voice would just be so tired, and then I have to get up early in the morning, and I have to wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I get home from the studio at like 12. So those are just some of the things I have to deal with. I know it doesn't seem that big, but during those moments,
it certainly is that big. It's the hidden moments, and this is exactly this is what I wanted you to touch on.
Yeah.
Is that those hidden moments of falling asleep, your mouth is dry, you're coming home from work, and so on and so on and so on, because they see a beautiful smile, you see a beautiful smile, and your album's come on. It's beautifully written, well done, and people have the perception it doesn't come with hard work, right? And fear and failure. With that ingredients that you all put together, this is the outcome, is your album, sort of thing. Is there anything that you would change on the album? Lyrically, production, you know. Wow. That's a tough question. That's a tough, ultimate question. Yeah.
No, it's a really good question because actually there are a couple songs on there that I think to myself, maybe I don't want to put it out, but I'm like, it's already signed and sealed, and it's all together now, so I can't take it back. There's a song, my next single, that I'm actually debating about putting it out, and only because it talks about sex, and I don't know how people will perceive it because of a majority of the things that I do write about. Well, actually, I'm trying to steer towards writing about. So the next song I'm writing about is called Connection. That's one song's for relationships. And so I think the direction that I want to take now with my music is talking less about relationships in regards to heartaches and all that kind of stuff. Because I feel like I start to take that on in myself. So I'm trying now to go into a route of more positive and uplifting music in regards to how life is. And it's not necessarily like that people don't go through, you know, the hard times and stuff, but I just don't want to focus on it too much because there's already so many songs about that. So I want to try to focus on something else. And,
Now, how do you decipher, for example, you get a feeling, oh, I like this song, just a melody in my head, and you start writing it, but it's something you don't want to write about. You know, it's something sad. Do you say, okay, I'm not going to write about this, or you just go with the feeling?
Sometimes I will just, I'll try, if I can, to finish the idea and let it go. And then afterwards, I can go back in and say, okay, I like the way this sounds, but I think I want to flip the script and make it sound like something else. So that's sometimes what I do. So if I write, so my first lyric might be something negative. I'm like, okay, how can I change this to something positive? So that's usually what I do. So, yeah.
Now, with the production to it, I'm 47. So it brought me back to like a Mary J. Other people may not feel that within a song because it's different. The impression you leave on everybody isn't the same. But that's the feeling I got. So how were you able to, in this day and age, be able to produce that type of sound with the influence of like trap music and a certain type of genre of beats? How were you able to extract and do your own beat and influence?
Are you talking about the instrumental? Because I didn't make it.
Instrumentals, beats, whoever did, you had the final say to it. Why that specific beat or production to your song? So
for Focus? Well, that song came about randomly. It wasn't something that was planned. It was...
there was your opportunity to make a mystical story. You're like, you know what?
Pretty much like that, because you know, there would be many times we'd be going over and he'll always show me. His name is Ryan Michaels, by the way, and he's the one who did all the production.
Shout out to Ryan Michaels.
Everything on my EP, he did all the production for it. And so it was just one of those random moments where he's like, oh, I have this instrumental I want you to listen to. I was like, oh, okay. So then he played it and I was like, oh, it sounds so good. I want to try it. I want to try it. Because a lot of my songs are really like, when I really started writing, is a lot of sad and slow and mellow kind of things. But I was like, this is more upbeat. I want to try something upbeat. And then I heard it and I was like, yeah, let me try this. And then I worked on it a few weeks. And then I think at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning was I got the idea. I was like, yes, this is the sound. These are the lyrics. This is how I want it laid out. And then I played it for him. He's like, yeah, this is good. So
now your supporters, your fans, at what moment did you really feel like, oh my gosh, I'm a singer? Or on the way up, not just like a backyard singer or in a shower singer, or like a real singer. When was that moment you felt, oh my gosh, like you asked for an autograph or whatever the case may be?
No. I don't know. I
do you feel like a singer?
I feel like I am a singer, but I don't know. I just do what I do.
That's a good point. You just do what you do, and whoever, you know, thinks you're a rock singer or a reggae singer, whatever they want to think, it's just the music you present and you take how it is.
But I will add that there was one day when I was at home with my son and I was singing because I love to record random melodies. And then he comes into the room, he's like, my mom's a star.
That was the moment then.
Okay. So that was a special moment.
Now, do you plan to have any collaborations on your album or moving forward?
Yes, I don't know who, but I would love to. But right now, I think collaborations, writing and singing and rapping wise, I don't know who, but I know
you're open to it.
But instrumentally, like there's a couple of producers that I'm working with right now. So, yeah.
Okay, you're doing amazing. I love it. And so now moving forward, your next project, what do you think that would be? Is it another album? Is it promoting this album? Is it diversifying yourself in like maybe, you know, exclusively or almost exclusively producing or writing other songs for other people? What's your next step?
What is my next step? Okay, so my next step, right now I'm just going to focus on getting this EP out, you know, doing that kind of stuff. And then afterwards, I do want to work on another EP, and I do want to apply for some funding from the government.
Anywhere you can get help, for sure.
That is something I do, but I think I want to get this out so that I have something to bring to the table. Like, hey, I did this by myself without much help from in regards to financial. So I need you guys to help me support, help support me financially.
So. Ultimately, your fans, what do you want your fans to take away from the music that you're presenting?
I want them, my main thing is for people to feel like they can do whatever they put their mind to. I think that's the main thing, is and spread positive messages as much as I can, but also not disregard, you know, hard stuff that happens in life, but don't focus on it to the point where it brings you down to like the darkest place and it's hard to get out of. So I think the main thing is just believe that you can do what you are desiring in your heart. And one of the things that I came up with in regards to goals is something I thought of recently. And as you can see, I'm wearing a shirt called Goals.
Okay.
And that, might as well show you.
You're not shy anymore.
So, the back says, I don't know if you can read that.
Yeah. God
ordained
active living steps.
So that means that whatever's in your heart that you are supposed to do, the steps that you take to get there will be guided by God. So continue to move in the direction that your heart is taking you towards. So yeah,
Well said. Besides God,
yes,
who would you like to give a thank you to? That really, I mean, this is the tough question that I ask people, you know what I mean? But there may be 20 people, but there's 2 or 3 that really like stayed up with you, or when you felt like quitting, you're quitting and supported you.
Well, my mom for sure. My mom's always been encouraging me. And my brother, thanks bro, thanks for coming, even though I know you didn't want to be here, but you're here. Thank you so much. My son and one of my friends, since I was like, from I started singing, and I listened back to some of my songs and I'm like, what is this? But he was always supportive, like no matter what, he's just like, keep going. He's always been supportive. His name is Kaban, and yeah, shout out to Kaban, and shout out my mom and my brothers, and yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come here.
Oh, thank you for coming. Any last words, anything you'd like to share in terms of positivity before we cut the interview short?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, goals is good. You said a lot. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
I absolutely love your music. I just met your music and I love it. It's really
you so
good.
much.
I only wish nothing but the best for you, and
Thank
for
you.
sure you're gonna go far.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Peace out. This is how we do my music. Peace out.
Oh, peace out.